What is up? What's going on, Dingleberry? You the first one. First one here today. Let's see here. Let's get tuned up. Oh, dude, that's no problem. I've been meaning to do this for a while now. Everybody keeps asking for like solo breakdowns and stuff, but I feel like it's going to be a lot more. I just feel like it's going to be a lot better for everybody if we're kind of like doing it together as more of a workshop instead of me just doing a video, just kind of like stabbing in the dark about what you guys actually want to know. So we're gonna let some more people get in. You guys can go ahead and start. Please drop a like. You guys can go ahead and start like dropping your questions in, and we'll start going through them. Like, what do you guys want to know about leading and soloing and stuff like that? And hopefully we'll get to it. Like, what I really want to focus on today are the ideas behind like chord inversions and where we start and things like that. I want to keep it real simple. Keep it real simple for everybody. Because I know things like this can seem like daunting and like a huge undertaking. Guys, if you're just getting in, please drop a like. We're just letting some people get in, and you guys can start what's going on. You guys can start asking some questions if you want. Otherwise, we're gonna start out slow with some like very basic ideas because I want you guys, because I think the most important thing when it comes to soloing, especially for jam band music, because how do I play the build up walk down riff in morning? Dude, do I not? That's all. I did that in the lesson. This is the Yeah, it's there. I mean, that's it. It's a pretty solid, easy walk up, Jacob. And it should be all tabbed out in that lesson. But anyways, so if we're so like the idea behind, so like the difference between leading and soloing, there's a difference, right? So like your lead guitarist is not just the soloist. So a lead guitar is more along the lines of like a position you play, and a solo is something that you do, right? So Jerry, if we're taking it from the stance of the Grateful Dead, which a lot of people here would, so Jerry is more of a lead guitarist. So that means that like his lines that he's playing, so Bob is more of the rhythm. So Bob is playing more of like the chords. So if you're doing like a They Love Each Other's, so that would be like the rhythm part, like, you know, the Bob part of They Love Each Other. The Jerry part, And see, so that's more of like the melody. Like the lead player does more of the melody. And as far as melodies go, hearing the vocal line and the guitar lead. Yeah, okay, so that is the biggest thing. Like so you got to decide if you want to be a melodic player or not. So I'm a melodic player, which means that I listen for and try to stick to like vocal lines, vocal melodies, things like that to then like to play off of at that point. So like if you were going to take that They Love Each Other, that line is it's right in here. That merry run around, and that kind of thing, and that kind of thing is super important to, and that comes down to your ear. That comes down to your ear and kind of learning where these things are. So that's why I think the best thing to start with are chord inversions. And if you've done like a personal lesson with me before, you'll know that I preach that shit like it's nobody's business. It is the most important thing. Okay, so Joshua says it's frustrating when instructors say play chord tones. I get that. I also used to be very frustrated by that. So what they mean is they want you to follow the chords that are being played. So, and what that means is that you need to check your chord inversions. So when I say chord inversions, what I mean are the different shapes of the same chords up and down the neck. So you've got an E major here. You've also got an E major here. You've also got an E major here. You've got an E major here. And you've got an E major here, where everything kind of starts back over here at this 12th fret, right? Here, let me go to my other. All right, so E major here, E major here, E major here, E major here, and E major here. And those are your chord inversions for E, basically. Now, what you need to realize is that when you're soloing, when you're soloing, you're really just going between these chord patterns, right? So if we were to do, if we were just to like kind of chill on an E, I'm gonna set a loop. So that's just an E. So I'm gonna start with this E down here. And now I'm going to work my way up using the whole half method, which is whole step, half step. I'm going to use that method to work my way up to this E, right? So see, now I've worked my way up there. So you go from this E to this E. And all you're ever doing is tracing chord shapes, right? When you're leading and soloing, I understand how it can feel like you're just like picking something out of the ether, but you're not. You're just going along. Is the scale positions. Okay. And it's well, okay, so Joshua was saying that it's hard for him to break out of seeing the scale positions. And I get that. That's something that you're going to have to train you. It's just practice. It just takes time. So again, yeah, I see totally within those different chord shapes to me, because it's all just it's all just the different chord shapes. And I feel that way for every single chord. So if you're doing, again, like we'll stick with this E for a second, and we started here with this second one, and you'll see that I'm always just tracing chord shapes. So we're in this E here. You see, because this is where and now I've worked my way up to this E. So I think that it's super important to learn your chord inversions. I think that is the most important thing because it opens up everything. So it's that same thing. So if you've got an E, and really I think it's important to pick to pick which one you like. His question is, it's not impossible. It is not impossible, Kevin. It literally just comes down to figuring out where your different chord shapes are. So if you're using this E to get up to this second position E, what you're going to want to use, is the whole step, half step method, right? So if you are using this E right here, what I would do is on this A string, whole step. So you're doing a whole step, half step, and that puts you on that next E root, right? And that gets you up there, and that pretty much works everywhere on the neck. And that's really it. And like a lot of people, and what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make this simple for you. I'm trying to break this down the easiest way because I have to look at it easily too. Because I don't really. I'm not a huge fan of like I'll learn some new scales and stuff like that, but I really try to train my ear. I try to train my ear and the way that I look at the fretboard. Because if we were gonna go with so we've got that E there. So if we were gonna do something like say for instance like a sugary. So if we're doing a sugary, when I play it, hold on, I got some questions. Let's see here. One back would be yeah. Let's see. When you play a C-shaped E, what scale are you playing behind it, or what notes do you focus on to bring out that E? Okay. So if you're doing this C-shaped one, what I'm doing is I'm still just using E. So what I'm doing to bring that out is I'm just tracing it. So you've got your E chord here, right? So I would start there on that B string on the 5th fret. Happens then, you've got this root right here. So the C, so like if you were to do a C-shaped chord, right? If you're bringing that up here to this E, what you've got here is you've got your E root on that 7th and 6th fret. So like on the 7th fret, you're on the A string, 6th fret on the D string, and that's your root. And that opens you up to do a lot right there. So you can do a 7 on the A string and then a 6, 7, 9 on the D string, and what you're doing right there is you're basically playing in E mixo. And like just the best thing to do is think about the whole half method, the whole step, half step, and that's really going to open up your lead playing because that's what you're doing. You're doing whole step, half step, depending on what scale you're playing in, right? Or depending on what the song calls for. It all depends on the feeling of the song. Cage, you need a little tip. But not everybody's you, Joshua. You need the tricks that mentors give me. I don't have mentors, bro. I've figured everything out for myself. Other than like watching things and listening. Again, it's like training your ear because especially when you get into like jam band stuff and like Jerry kind of style stuff, there's a lot of filigree in there that's thrown in. And a lot of that is like chromatic stuff. So And like the whole half thing, it just makes it super easy. And I understand that you don't need a cage lesson, but it's not just about you, it's about everybody. We're trying to, because that's the thing we want. Oh, okay. I got you. I'll keep my mouth shut then, I guess. I don't know. So if we were gonna do something kind of like sugary, so that's like your B. So So what you're doing is you're playing in B. So what would happen there? So you've got a B here, you've got your main B here, and then it goes to an E, right? So what you're basically doing is playing in. So people will say that especially sugary is in B mixo, which is E major, right? So what you'll want to do is if you've got this going, and what I like to do, what Jerry would like to do a lot is he starts on different strings. So like you have a lot of people that'll show you, they'll tell you that starting on your D or G string is a great way to start, or you can also with the B. Jerry likes to start with his B a lot. So because what's cool is you've got a B right here. You've got your C-shaped B right there. Got me? So like on that 12th fret is where, because again, that's your B, that's your open B, right? So that's your B root there. You got that there, but you've also, you move that up, there's your, your E right there. And again, you're just tracing these notes. You're just tracing these chords with picked notes. So you know that this is your B root, but that's also part of your E chord, right? So B, you're sharing a lot of the same notes between these chords. Oh, my big fat hand, sorry. Right? So you're sharing notes. So when you go into that, you still have to handle that whole half. So if we start on this B string on the 12th fret, if we're doing sugary, so right, that was whole half, whole half. So again, that's whole half, and I like to go forwards and then backwards. That was a thing that Jerry liked to do too, where he'll work up something and do it backwards, and then just continue to do things like that. Let's see. So yes. So the best thing to do right off the rip is just learn all these different chord inversions. So if you've got your B here, so if we're doing a sugary, you've got your B here, got this first position B, but you've also got this B right here because you're using the B root on that. Then B there, you got a B there, and got a B there. Got a B there. And then you got your B starting back over. Starting over right there. So again, you can work your way. It's all about just remembering where those are, because you can, using the whole half method, you can get yourself there pretty easily. So if we're going from this B up to this B, you would, if you're starting on that G string, you'd do the half, and then you'd start over with your whole half from there. Whole half. And yeah, so it is easier. So if you're wanting to do something like, so let's say you're wanting to play along to, does whole half work in minor keys? Yes, it does. It works no matter what. So if you were gonna do like a minor, so. So that's an A minor to a G, right? A minor, G. Because again, you see what I'm doing? I'm still only implementing that whole half method, so. Because basically what you're doing is you're playing in G major over A minor, right? So that's basically how that translates. So you've got your minors, but it's still technically in G major. So if your song is in the key of A minor, you solo in G, if that makes sense, or C, or depending on what the overall major of that song ends up being. And if we were going to look at something like, you know, if we were doing like that A minor thing again, and you wanted to, again, like if you know an A minor shape, so you've got this A minor shape here, and you're wanting to do, if you've got your A minor shape here, you've got an A minor shape here, got an A minor shape here, and you got an A minor shape here, starting back over, right? Those are your A minors, yeah? So, if you're wanting to do anything like that, you've also got, so it'd be a whole half. You could even like stick to, if you're wanting to do like a higher register, because I know a lot of people when they're soloing, they'll want to go straight for that higher register, right? Because that's what we think of when we think soloing. We think like really high notes, things like that. But that's not always the best case scenario. Like a lot of the times, maybe you'll want to start like midway in the neck just to like give yourself some build up time, right? But if you wanted to start right off, the thing that I would suggest doing is finding that, again, that higher register of that chord you're trying to play, because this all based on chord inversions, right? It's all about chord inversions, because again, we're just playing the notes within the chords. That's all there is on this neck. That's all the guitar is, just chords. There's just the same chords up and down the neck in different ways. Right? That's all it is. And all you're ever doing is playing notes within these chords on this neck. You're not just picking stuff out of the ether. You're always kind of doing something. So if you want it, you'd know that this, where everything starts over, this is your A minor, your higher register A minor. Right? It's that same one as the one at the bottom of the neck. It's just started over there at that 12th fret, because your 12th fret there, you can even look at it segmented from 1st to 12, from the 1st fret to the 12th fret, right? Because everything just starts over again after here. So it's really important to just learn everything up to this 12th fret, and then everything just starts back over at this point, right? So you act like this is the nut, because nothing happens after this nut. right? And so you're using this finger to bar, and that's like your nut. Bust that nut. So now, if you were to find this, you would still... I like to go one above the root. So this is... That's like your A root there on that A minor, right? So I would add a whole, because like you want to bend a whole step. So you'd have the whole half that from there. But what you would want to do is you would go up that first hole and then bend there. That's what I like to do. And Jerry does like to do some half step bends, but that's a little bit more technical than these whole step bends. Half step bends are a little bit harder to do than whole step bends. Tony, thank you, man. Thank you for watching, because if you guys don't watch, then there's no job for me here. So if we're doing that A minor there, and you see again, I'm just tracing. So you've got new chord there. And again, what I'm doing, and you just have to, it just takes time, guys. That's all it takes. Because if you just break it down like you pick one of these chords and just play it. Just play it. So you've got this A minor and G, right? So, and we're sticking to this A minor right here. So. And like you can always go back and hit that root for a little bit of extra oomph. Good luck, Jacob. So I really think that, you know, so we pick different ones that we like, and as far as like remembering them goes, again, it's all just the same different shape. So if you've got like if you're gonna do your D, so the D, you got a D here, and you know that's that same thing as that C-shaped D. We just end up doing it like that as an open. So you got a D there, you got a D there, and you've also got a D here, right? Because we got that root. Every time you do that C-shaped chord, so I would really suggest learning these C-shaped chords almost above anything else, because first of all, it's a great workout for your hands. It gets you doing something weird with your hands that you're not used to doing. Am I right? But it also it opens up those roots to you, which Jerry used a lot. And I know you guys can hear that. I know you guys can hear that thing that he used to do. Right? So that opens up those roots for you. And that leads you to your next ones, right? They all lead into each other. So that's a D right there. So you've gone from, so this D to this D to this D to this D to that D, right? Because again, everything starts back over after the 12. So everything after that is just gravy. It's just gravy, you know what I'm saying, baby? That's just how it goes. And so another idea I wanted to get past you guys is like a little bit of the chromaticisms. I know you guys see me. I am a chromatic whore when it comes down to it. I use the chromaticisms all the time. Like the chromaticisms is basically my Jerry sound, right? That's the thing that excuse me, that's the thing that I have latched onto, that is the thing that I like, because everybody hears jam band stuff and Jerry stuff a little bit differently. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has like a certain thing that sticks out to them the most. And for me, it's those chromatic movements. So like, and chromatic, really what I'm doing is I'm just hitting all the notes in between those whole halves. So like if I'm going here, if I'm going whole half, what I would do if I wanted to do something chromatic. So because we know if we're doing an E major here, we know that like even through caged or whole half, we can do ba-da, ba-da. Do an E here. You know that you can do 2-4 on the A string and 2-4 on the D string, right? So I would just end up adding in that third note in between those holes, like ba-da-da. And so like I end up doing that a lot, like more than anybody should probably. But to me, that's the shit I like. And I know that people will give me shit about it. I know that people are like, well, that's not really Jerry style. But I'm not here to just do Jerry style. I like to play the Grateful Dead's music, and this is my style. You know? Yeah, I definitely Jerry is my biggest influence. But I've also got some Talking Heads and some Frank Zappa in there, a little bit of Fish, a little bit of old Motown, some Paul Simon. I've got all that thrown in there too. And a lot of that is where like the aggression in my playing comes from. But the chromatic thing is really where my Jerry stuff comes through. So if we're doing, what do I have down? If we've got, let's do Franklin's. So Franklin's Tower is just A, G, D, right? So it'd be right. And so people want you to do like the chord tones and stuff through that, right? So you would start on an A. So you've got this A up here, depending on where you want to start. And sometimes I'll also do a 4-step chromatic walk up instead of a 3. So there will be a whichever gets me up, because I've got an A there, right? On that 14th fret. That's my A starting over. And you've also got an A here, right? Again, the chord inversions. Everything is chord inversions. So you've got an A here, your C-shaped A here. So if you're wanting to... So do a 4-step chromatic walk up on that D string. So if you've got that A root there on the A string on the 12th fret, because again, everything starts the fuck over there. And you've got those roots there like we had just talked about, remember? Right? You can do a 4-step chromatic walk up to that A, that next A from that on that D string. So if you're on the 11th fret on that D string, you would just hit 11, 12, 13, 14, and then now you're back at this next A. So and then another 4-step walk up there. Kevin, no, I have never taken a guitar lesson. I only teach them shittily. But I've had a lot of people ask me about like soloing tutorials and things like that, and this is probably how I'm going to do this, through live stream workshops where we can like talk to each other and like I can help you with what's going on. I'm probably only going to go like another 5 minutes or so because this is like about 40 minutes. And I hope you guys have gotten something out of it because Right. So, well, Kevin, that's why I'm really trying to like dumb it down and make it, well, not dumb it down, but make it just easier to understand with, chord inversions. So again, the chord inversions, just the different shapes of the same chord up and down the neck, because that's all you're ever playing through. All soloing is tracing these chord shapes and these chords, but throwing in a little bit of attitude, throwing in some vibrato, some bends. That's what makes solos. Like it's your passion behind the music that makes the solo worth a damn, right? It's your emotion, your fire behind it that makes it really stand out and makes it your own thing. So all I can do is show you all I can do is really show you like the pieces that I know. And this is the easiest way that I know how to break it down, is with chord inversions and like chromaticisms and really just tracing these chord shapes. And I know that people are going to tell you that you need to learn modes, you need to learn things like that. But I'm telling you, if you learn these chord inversions and you know your neck well enough, then you're really, really not going to have much of a problem. Because if you're playing, so like we've got Franklin's Tower going right now. If you are playing along with the chord shapes, so it goes to G and then to D. So if you start on A, so what I was doing there, so I'm hitting an A. So you've got an A, and then there are notes in the D and the G, right? So that you've got a G, D, A right in there, and that's all the chords that you're playing within that. So you've got, A, G, D. But what you're doing when you're soloing is you're hitting notes within all three of those chords, right? So and you're basically playing in Mixolydian, right? And that's nothing that I had to learn. It's just picking it up by ear, knowing where those different notes go within the amount of the song. So like I would say, again, it's the most important to learn these inversions before you start thinking that you have to learn all of these different scales, modes, and things like that. They are important, but I'm trying to get you prepared for those things, because these things are going to be a lot more attainable once you're more comfortable with the neck. Because a lot of people just get lost and they think that they're just pulling notes out of nowhere, but in reality, you're just taking notes from these different shapes of these chords up and down the neck, because they all intertwine, they all hang out together, they're all best friends, right? So I think that's me. I think I'm done preaching for today. So if you're just getting in here, please, oh shit, that was bad. That was my bad. I don't have my OBS set up for this. Please hit the like button. Let me know what you thought. I will be doing these more often now, especially if this gets good feedback. And let me know what else you want to learn. I know that this was a little bit disjointed just because this is my first one. Well, okay, so Cloudy, I do agree with you that playing to backing tracks is really important, but I really think that everybody should go through their neck and learn all the different chord inversions, with your E. And then just learning all the other chord inversions up and down the neck, because you're going to get more comfortable with it and everything is going to start falling into place. You'll start to see where everything stacks up. And yes, practicing to backing tracks is one of the best ways to get better. And also playing with people that are better than you is a great way to get better. So please, guys, drop a like, drop some comments. I love you guys so much, and we'll do these more. So maybe we'll do a live workshop once a month. something like that. And yeah, so Matt, that's a great idea too. So if you have a looper, playing to your own loops can be good too, because you're playing at your own pace and you're playing with yourself. And as you get better, your loops are going to get better. But yeah, I love you guys so much. Thank you guys for being here for this first live solo workshop, and we will do more. We will definitely do more of these and get more in depth as things go on. But I just wanted to do kind of like a brief overview and get my gospel of learning chord inversions out there, because it has been the thing that helped me the most. But yeah, so I love you guys, and we will see you guys soon. Okay, goodbye.